You're listening to the Capability Podcast. Of course, my name is Grayson Hughes, and as always, I'm so happy to have you here. For those who listened to my first episode, welcome back, and for the new listeners, thank you so much for joining. In the previous episode, I talked about my 12th birthday and why everything in my sixth grade year just led up to an incredibly emotional birthday for me. It was kind of like a climatic moment. Today, I'm going to be talking about the entirety of that year because my birthday's at the beginning of the year and why that year just ended up being so weird and so insane for me. Before we start, I want to do a little disclaimer about just some things that I'll be referencing in this. If anyone's listening to this that knows me personally and thinks that they could be mentioned in it or like you feel like I was talking about you in it, I want to say that first of all, I don't really talk about anyone. It probably wasn't about you, but I'm never going to come on here and like just start bashing someone or speak badly about someone. I try to only talk about things that are in the past and never just like talk about someone, but instead talk about the actual story and my piece in something and how I learned from it. So, yes, because on my last episode, I didn't drop any names and I will never do that. But I had a lot of people asking me for names. So, just so you guys know, that's not going to happen because I'm not trying to expose anyone or talk badly about anyone. That's not my intention at all. I'm just trying to tell you guys my stories and perspectives and everything. So, I want to kind of start this with a really interesting conversation I had today with my neighbor, actually, who he's, yeah, he's my neighbor. And I was just kind of swimming in his pool today. And I was just talking to him, and he said, and I'm actually starting sophomore year in 2 days. And I told him that. And he said, "Oh, that's really exciting." Well, when I was your age, I felt really behind with everyone. I was really tiny, I was really short, and I had glasses, and I didn't feel like I looked like anyone else, and everyone looked way better than me, and I wasn't confident in the way I looked. But you just have to find the joy in everything that you're doing because it's all an opportunity, and everything that you're doing is an opportunity at this age. So I thought that was really cool, and that kind of stuck with me. I mean, that was literally just a few hours ago, but yeah. So let's pick right off where, sorry, let's pick right up where we left off, which was the beginning of 2022. I had just turned 12 years old, and I still really wanted to be a part of the the popular friend group, I guess you could say. I don't know. It feels so weird to say that, but I don't know what else to say because that's in the mind of a 12-year-old, that's what it was, you know? I don't know what else, like how else I can describe it. I wouldn't describe anything that way now, but at 12, like that's what it was. So the thing about this was that I didn't it was really hard at the time because none of our classes were mixed and none of them were really in my class. So any kind of opening or like loophole of connection I could find, I would just dive right in, right? So basically, one of them, we kind of found out that we had like a mutual friend um that I literally barely knew, but was my friend in like first grade. Don't get me wrong. I know him way better now, but I barely knew. But I was like, oh hey, like this is good. This is a really good way to like get to know them, bond, connect. meet in a smaller group because, you know, I had that party a couple months prior, but it didn't really, I didn't really get to know anyone there that if I didn't know them that well, then I didn't really get to know them there because there were just a million people there. So it didn't really mean anything. So I had just a few people over trying to make some kind of social connections happen. I was trying really hard. Um, and it actually didn't go that badly. I mean, I wouldn't say that I really clicked with anyone. Sometimes it's just like you're not fighting with someone, you're not like arguing with someone, but you just don't have that like click, that connection that you need to be like a good friend with someone. But it didn't go poorly at all. So I had that, and then I remember that like when he got picked up, like I saw that he had like uh his dad and his sister were there, and I introduced our families because I'm trying to think in like my 12-year-old mind. I'm almost 16, so bear with me because like my sister was mentioning that she was looking for some new friends because I think she was like online during that time, so she was looking for some new friends. My dad was looking for some new friends, and so was I. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is a perfect like loophole to get into that friend group and to make it work. And he was also dating a really good friend of mine, and she and I have been friends for the basically the entire school year. And I was just like, sure, like this is perfect. And honestly, our siblings and parents like really quickly clicked. Like I feel like literally the week after that, like we were doing all kinds of stuff with them. And I mean, they weren't bad at all. Like I'm not going to sit here and act like these were the best things, but I can't act like they were the worst things either. But it was a little awkward because we never like clicked on that level, and that's not bad. Like it's just like you can't always just click with someone, you know. But like we would have these like family things, and I would try really hard to like make it not super awkward for me and him. Um, so I would I would kind of like try to just like talk, and it, I just don't think he was ever interested. So because he was dating my really good friend, I would like text her and be like, "Oh, like did he say something like bad about me or what?" Cuz I just like was trying to yeah, but our families were doing things like consistently like pretty often. I think I want to say we did like 4 things until we ended up stopping for some reason. Yeah. So, but like we did like 4 things I just during that time, and then like reconnected months and months later. So there was that. But I would like message his girlfriend, who was my really good friend, and be like, "Yeah, like what do I do?" Because there was also one time we went to like a sports game, like our whole family, and like our parents were sitting together, our sisters were sitting together, and then he was just like I don't know, like talking to my like texting my friend like 2 rows behind, and it was super awkward. But like I didn't think that much of it. I was just like, okay, like not like we're not even really friends. This is just like a family thing. And then our sisters like came up to me and they were like, "Did you guys get into a fight?" And I was like, "No, I don't think so. What do I do?" So so I like called his girlfriend and I was like, did something happen that I don't know about? Because like I didn't think anything happened. Like we're just not really talking. Like it's nothing bad. And she was like, no, I don't think so. Like he didn't say anything. Some people are just like I guess like, he was just, like we just weren't really like close. Like we didn't like connect on anything. So, you know, we just didn't talk. That was nothing. So, I mean, that worked for a while because then I could be like, oh, with that group, I could just kind of say, oh, I was hanging out with so and so's family, like we're our friends, family friends or whatever. So like that was one of those kind of openings I could work with, but you know, you can only do so much, especially because I didn't like we only had one class all day, same group of people in 6th grade. So I didn't even get to meet any of these people besides just like passing in the hallway. It was honestly really hard. And now that I think about it, I had some kind of strange, confident level of delusion that I could make it work, if that makes sense. But it didn't, you know? And then on the other hand, I had my other friends who I was already friends with, like no biggie, like there was no problem there. But the group that I wanted to be in, like, was always talking badly about them. Like they were calling them weird and whatever, whatever. So at 12, I just kind of did what I could to like disassociate myself from them because I didn't want to be like thought of as part of a group that everyone calls like weird and whatever else. Yeah, I tried really hard with that one and it didn't work amazingly, I did what I could, but yeah. Okay. So the school year goes on and I want to say it's May and I I still had that one friend from the beginning of the year, but like we weren't that close. And there was like I did not like I was not dating anyone. I was not into crushes, relationships, anything like that. But like in 6th grade, like all the boys and girls were like doing like dating in some way. Like there was some kind of relationship, and then there was like drama based off of it. And I felt, and there were like love triangles. Like yeah, there was all that at my school in 6th grade, and I wanted nothing more. Like I wanted nothing more but to be like kept in the loop of that because there was always so much drama surrounding it. And then one day, my really good friend, I guess we weren't that close at like that late in the year, but my friend like came up to me and was like, "Oh, oh, these are completely different people, by the way. Like not the people I was just talking about. Um, oh, like I like I heard what you said about me, whatever, whatever." And I was just like, "What? What did I say?" And then he was like, "Don't act like you don't know." I was like, "Okay." um, and that was like a whole fight. And for some reason, like I was taught in my class, I wasn't talking to anyone. Like everyone was mad at me about something because someone started a rumor that I was talking bad about my friend, like saying these disgusting things about the way he looked, and I don't know why, but that did happen. And during that time, my our science teacher, she was either there was like a period where she was sick or something for like 2 months, which I don't even believe, and then she came back and almost immediately quit. So we had this substitute who was amazing, and I honestly didn't know what to do but to become friends with her because she was super nice. And our room was connected to this like outdoor fenced in back lot. And I said to her, "Hey, like, how cool would it be if we cleaned it up because it was dirty? If we cleaned it up and made this into like a cool little space?" And she was like, "Oh my gosh, yeah." So every day I would go to science class and I would like broom and wipe and sweep and get this whole like back lot ready. And then we were like, yeah, we it was super cool. Like we ended up going out there and like we could do classes and like class out there, and I was like, it was like the coolest thing in 6th grade because every time someone would go out there and like Same. Oh, I was in the back kind of. It was really really tiny, guys, but I was in the like someone would be like, "Oh, like the back area, whatever." I'd say, "Oh, did you know that I did that? I made that. I cleaned it off. It was my idea." I thought that was cool too. Anything I could do to like get my name out there or something, I was like, I would just say, "Oh, that was me." I did anything. I was so creative with it. I thought anything I could do. So you know, May, and then the school year ended at the end of May. I think it was like May, around May 25th, May, something like that. And that day we were all allowed to use our phones to take photos with each other, photo shoots, whatever. And it was, guys, it was so hard because I wanted to be in everyone's photos. Obviously I did, like, that's all I wanted was to be in the thing, and we could make like, go in the hallway and go to other classes, and I was like, "Yes, I have to be in everyone's photo." Literally everyone's. But, when it was, like, when it was the friend groups that I wanted to be a part of, but wasn't a part of, they obviously did not want me in their photo. So, I remember this one specific thing where it was this like group of boys, and they were taking photos, and I was like, they were like, I went up to them and I was like, "Do you guys want to take a photo? Let me get in the photo." So they said, "No, but we were hoping that you could take a photo of us instead." And I didn't know what to say. I was like, "Okay, sure," because that was the group I wanted to be a part of. So if I said no, I was like screwed. And then I remember they said, "Oh, well, we go way back." And one of them I had known since I was 5 years old, and I knew that he had just met them weeks ago. So I didn't even try to argue, because I thought if I argue, or if they see me as rude in any way, I'm done. Like, this is a done deal. That sucked. So basically the whole summer I ended up spending it with just like a couple, three friends maybe, who everyone who the friend group I wanted to be in, like, they called them weird. I don't know where that came from, but yeah, I just spent the whole summer with them because it was relaxing. And then the one point I got invited to a party from the so-called popular group, I literally was on vacation. I was going to sob. Guys, the first time I got invited to something by them, I had to be on a trip. I was sobbing, guys. I was in my bed at my grandma's house sobbing. I guess it's not that funny, but I'm laughing. But I don't know. Like, when you're that age, every small thing feels like the biggest thing in the world. It just feels like the end of the world. I mean, how could it not? But so even like this whole year was some kind of fever dream. I don't know why, but 2022 is like not in my head. Like, Stranger Things, I just wasn't there. I don't know how to explain it. I went to Germany, and I remember like throwing up everywhere in Germany. Why was I in Germany? I don't even remember these things. Like, they just happened. Literally, to make for this episode, I had to go through my camera roll to go through everything to see it, because I barely remembered. Like, I had to go through my old diaries and my camera roll to see everything. That Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, I was just doing the most random things. Like, we went to Hawaii, and my my dad got like appendicitis in Hawaii, and the Airbnb owner had to like we had to camp out with her outside of the hospital from at 4 in the morning. Like, it was all these weird things that just happened to happen to me. in 2022 that I barely remember, but, like, the main thing that I remember is just whole thing that I wanted to be in that friend group. So that year was honestly crazy. I would say 2022 and 2023 were some of the weirdest years of my life. So I did kind of get off track, but I'm just trying to let you guys know like that year was weird for me. 12 years old, doing it all. So when summer was over in August, I I still had to go to that damn small school, but the basically what ended up happening was the campuses transferred. So it was the same school, but we got transferred to a different campus. And that made me, guys, it made me so happy because then I finally got a real schedule. So different classes throughout the day. Finally got an actual, like it was finally actually middle school, the thing that I had missed out on for the past year. That basically thrilled me. And right off the bat, we didn't like they didn't have schedules or anything. So the first few days we were just sitting in the cafeteria, like doing nothing. Literally just sitting in the cafeteria. And then when I got my schedule, my classes changed like 7 times. And yeah, once everything settled down, my priority once again was to become a part of the group. Obviously, I mean, how could it not be? I'm 12. Like this has never been more passionate about anything. Yeah, I don't know what to say. And the main thing that got messed up was my math class. Somehow my my math, like I got put in like 5 different math classes, and I ended up in this really weird one where also I would go to lunch with the math class, and the lunch there was like no one there. It was literally just the class. I mean, just the class. It was just the class. I didn't like. What do you do? So of course, I think all the kids that were part of that friend group sat at their own table, and I felt way too like I was way too scared to just invite myself to sit over there. So obviously I didn't. But then I ended up meeting this girl who wasn't a part of it at all. But because it was so small, we ended up just getting this full size lunch table and just sat by ourselves, right? And like I said in my first episode, when I realized that they didn't really want me in their group, I mean, I tried to credit it to random things. Like I tried to say, oh, it's my weight, oh, it's my hair. But I think the main thing was my weight. And I don't think it was just that. It was that I also just was insecure about it. The thing is, especially at that age, I wasn't really that overweight, you know? I wasn't like, I mean, maybe a little chubby, but you know, I said before also that I was really chubby in 6th grade, but over that summer I got way taller, so it balanced out a ton. But yeah, I wasn't even that chubby, so I don't know. Like the mind plays weird tricks on you. I don't know what to say. I mean, yeah, and then I remember I got invited to go roller skating with them, and to make it work, I had to bring my other friend who they didn't like for some reason. But yeah, ended up coming. And I don't know, something about me is that I don't I don't have ADHD, but I would just like I can't just be like sit somewhere, and especially at 12, I can't just sit somewhere and just be quiet and not be myself, you know? Like I'm not a quiet person. Like I want to talk, I want to move, like yeah. So I'm when I walk into a room, I'm myself. So I think I don't know. And at 12, it was obviously way more of that, you know. So there's guys, this is not something I want to talk about, but I am at that roller skating thing. Like they're all like super chill, like whatever, roller skating, and I didn't even know how to roller skate, like taking selfies, making TikToks, whatever. And there's like videos of me like dancing. I'm gonna have to put it on Instagram or something, but once in a while, like my friends will send me these like awful videos of me just dancing at the roller skating rink. If I really wanted to be a part of that friend group. I don't know why I thought that my dance moves were gonna help, but yeah, I was just full on dancing, and yeah, I did not know how to roller skate at all. It was so bad. But on the other side of it, I still had all of those friends who, I mean, they weren't the best friends, but the ones that everyone called weird for some reason. But like I was way closer with them. We had things in common. We had this similar humor. I bonded more with them, but for some reason it just wasn't appealing to me. But I felt bad that I was kind of neglecting them and like painting the picture that I wasn't really friends with them, just to make it work for like just to make it more like make the other people happy, you know? And that didn't even work, you know? That was just me being a fake friend. So then all of them, like the ones that I was not being the best friend to, um, they went back to the roller skating rink and texted me about it, and I wasn't gonna go because, you know, I was start trying to like dis like not attach or like disassociate from them. And I felt so bad, so I ended up surprising them and just showing up, and they were all super excited to see me. But once again, I can't roller skate. So I fell and I broke my wrist. Fractured, I guess, but still, which freaked me out. That was my first time break, and also the only time so far breaking a bone. Freaked me out. I was crying, not even crying in pain, but like crying, just crying, you know? And I remember my sis like I couldn't even open the car door because I didn't even go to the ER or the hospital or whatever for almost 3 days, and my I couldn't even grip the car door to open it, and I asked my sister to help me, and she told me I was lying. She said, "If you really broke your wrist, you'd be on the floor sobbing." Well, I wasn't, but I got an X-ray and it was fractured. But I tried the best thing I could do to make light of this situation was just go ahead and tell everyone, like make it apparent that I broke my wrist. I would have freaked out if they put a full blown cast on me, so I just got the kind of Velcro cast. But I loved I loved more than anything when everyone was asking me what happened to my wrist because they saw the little Velcro cast. I mean, they couldn't sign it, but still, I thought it was. I was like, yes. Some someone would be like, "Oh, what happened to your wrist?" And I'd be like, "Yes, my wrist." Kind of to myself. And yeah. So I did what I could. I didn't want to be, chaotic, but I felt so left out that everyone had this all kinds of like drama and all these things that were happening. And I was not in the loop of anything happening until this situation that occurred. If you know me personally and you've known me for more than 2, I guess 3 years, you probably know about this, but this was very messy. This was my first big thing with this was my first big drama. Ooh. So, guys, so I had this friend. She was a part of that group, right? But, I actually kind of clicked, like, me and her went way back. And she was actually super nice, whatever. But I was an advocate for all things like positive and internet safety. On like, I didn't curse or anything. If I was on TikTok, I would make sure like my whereabouts were hidden. Like I was, yeah, and also I was super for protecting people. Like any of my friends, I really wanted them to be protected. I was just a protective and safe person, and I would have argued about it if I felt like someone was doing something immoral or wrong. Ooh, well, one of this girl I knew, she I don't even remember. She did some TikTok trend where like she was just like posting like I don't even remember. Just like posting like people that she was sorry that she never really got along with, or it was something like that. And a lot of the photos had their like contacts, and a lot of my friends were in it. And my friends were messaging me because like they knew I knew her, and they were saying like, "Oh my gosh, she posted my phone number. I'm getting all these random hate messages." And if I'm right, I think she also had a lot of followers on TikTok. And I didn't know what to do because all my friends were telling me like, "Oh my god, she posted my number on TikTok. What do I do?" People are texting me, and I was like, "Oh my god." So this girl, she sat behind me in English class, and it was silent reading time, and I wrote her a little note and I gave it to her, and like I was just kind of sneaking around, like giving her a note, asking her about it, and then like we were passing notes back and forth, and she didn't see anything wrong with it, and I was like, I put what you did was so wrong. And then she took it back, she read it, and then she stands up, like keep in mind the whole room's silent reading, and she's like, Grayson, I didn't do anything wrong. And then she ran out of the room. Guys, I did not know what to say, and I just like I wanted to act, I didn't know what to do, so I like looked around the room and kind of like shrugged to act in a to act like I didn't know. Yeah, that was so embarrassing. I don't know. And then yeah. And I don't know if it was right after that, but after that we didn't see her for a while. Like she didn't come to school. I don't know why, if she was sick or anything, but I was texting her and everything. And then one day, about a week or two after she was gone, and also remember all of our parents knew each other. My dad got a call from one of the parents at our school asking if we knew anything about her, and we were like, "Well, what?" And they said, "Oh, well, she got expelled from school because she left death notes graffitied in the bathroom." And I was like, "Oh my god, why?" My dad told me this because I knew her forever, and we knew her, and like all the parents knew her, and we were like, "Oh my god, that's where she is," and she wasn't responding to my texts. So yeah, I, I freaked out. I was like, "Oh my god, did I cause this?" So my dad was like, "Make sure everyone knows that's where she went, and everyone, so that you can keep everyone safe." And I was like, "Of course." So I told everyone, "Yeah, guys, she got expelled and she's gone. She's in a ton of trouble because she made all these threats." And yeah, that was the narrative. And for me, I kind of I thought I was doing something like right. Like I completely I thought I was doing something to like really genuinely help people because everyone was trying to figure out where she was, and I thought I was helping by giving everyone the truth and keeping everyone safe. But a few weeks later, she came back to school. And I was so confused. I was like, "Oh my god, she's back. Why is she back? Like, how is she back?" And everyone told her, And obviously they trace it back to me, and I was like, "No, no, 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 no. My dad told me this, and he got a call from this other person." And genuinely, it was so bad because everyone thought that I just made up this rumor about her, but it was like someone called my dad and told that, and I felt so bad. I don't think I talked to her for an incredibly long time after that. It was messy. Yeah, it was really, really, really messy. And yeah, I mean, it was bad. But I that kind of really, really, really set me back from being in that friend group because she was in it. That set me back way too much. So I started going to the extreme to try to fit into it. I started straightening my hair every day. Like it was bad. I would wake up at 5 a.m. to straighten my hair. Um, you know, I I thought it was my weight. I just wanted to fit in so bad. So I thought it was my weight. So I tried to do this crazy fasting, and then I would like make these like no, I would send myself like a reminder during breakfast, lunch, dinner every other day or something like that. And it was like it would be like an emoji of a pig or something to make me think I was like eating too much. I don't know. And then that one girl I sat alone at lunch with, I she like noticed, I think, and she said, "Well, why are you doing that?" And I said, "Well, I've just been overeating my whole life, so now I'm compensating for that by not eating." But I didn't even lose much weight. But this came from the whole thing where when I had COVID a year earlier, everyone noticed that I had dropped a ton of weight because I couldn't eat because of how bad my throat was. So I thought, "Oh, like this is a good way to lose weight." Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't do that anymore. And then I got scared because she I think her phone got taken, and to get to make her mom try to give it back, she would do something like she would not eat until she got the phone back, and that made me start eating because I worried I that made me feel like I rubbed off on her and I really cared about her. So I started eating again, and I started trying to bring her food. Yeah. The thing about this is during that time, that whole period of 2022, I can't I've never like felt it since, but I just I don't remember it ever being sunny. Like I just remember constant darkness or like orangeness or Halloween, you know. I don't know why, but I have such a clear vision of 2022 in my head. And I honestly think a lot of the darkness that I associate with it is just the constant need to change myself to fit into what I wanted to be in. But I was always missing out. Like I would see stuff where they made TikToks in the hallway and I wasn't in it. There was one point where I want to say like the majority of my grade took this selfie together that everyone had, and I missed it because they did it like before school started, and I wasn't there before school started, like in the morning, and I just was never fitting in. And they would always say things to me, like I remember they would say different things like about how my nose something about I remember one time some really big asshole in it said something about my nose, and I was super insecure about it, so I tried to like hold it down for hours to think I could naturally move it without like surgery, plastic surgery, and it obviously didn't work. But I did end up reaching a breaking point, which I'll talk about in the next episode. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope to have you back on the next episode. Bye.